Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman rahim. I'm Umair bin Abid and you're watching Umair Linguistics. In this video, I am going to share some multiple choice questions or MCQs of chapter 1, the origins of language, from the study of language. The first tip I always recommend that before doing any multiple choice questions, read the complete chapter, and I think this is the best way to solve any multiple choice questions, because uh, these which I am going to share with you might not be the same which you may encounter in your exams, but these could be the most important MCQs, because they are provided by the Cambridge University Press, the publisher of this book. So these could be the most important, but there could be some different as well. So because George will always already does not write too long that it is difficult to read, and he does not write too difficult to understand. So let's start. Now I am going to read each question and then I'll give you the answer. So the first is, approximately how many years ago did written language develop? So these are the several options: 3,000, 5,000, 7,500, 10,000, 15,000, and 20,000. So the answer is 5,000. All right. Now, the good MCQs, just uh, as an information, a good MCQ is also is always that one which can distract the learner, which can distract the reader. Not very similar or very common questions in which it is very difficult. It is very easy to point out that this is the right MCQ. Let me share you an example. This is the book, The Origins of Language, from which we are doing some multiple choice questions. I just want to show you very interesting thing and how a good MCQ is made. So we suspect that some type of spoken language must have developed between 100,000 and 50,000 years ago, well before a written language, about 5,000 years ago. Now, most of the times, the information which is in these brackets, in these parentheses, most of the time, this information is not uh, very important. It is a redundant information, means less important. But you can see the MCQ which has been provided by the Cambridge University Press. So it contains this part. So therefore, reading the complete chapter with full understanding, with full concentration, is very important to do an MCQ. So, and the more options you have in any MCQ, the more difficult it is to do. Let's look at now the second MCQ. How many weeks before birth is the human auditory system functioning? It's also a very interesting MCQ, although the answer is 8 weeks. But let me show you what is written in the book. Hmm. Yeah, just a minute. Let me show you the. It will come in the, I think, the musical source. So yeah, here is the information. Studies of newborn infants have found that they can recognize. They also show preference. These may indeed have learned to use. However, other creatures, I think it will be in genetic source. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show you. The human auditory system is already functioning before birth at around 7 months. Now, in book, in the chapter, it is written at around 7 months. In other words, after 7 months, the baby starts to hear sounds in his environment. Although after 7 months, the baby uh, is still not born, is still unborn. The baby is still in the belly of the mother, but he or she starts listening. All right, after 7 months. But what is the MCQ? So the MCQ is how many weeks before birth is the human auditory system functioning? Now they are asking how many weeks before birth, but what is written in the book? Uh, the human auditory system is already functioning before birth at around 7 months. Book is saying after 7 months, but the MCQ is asking after how many weeks. Now we know 2 months have 8 weeks, so it is actually the same answer. It is actually the same thing. But I just want to show you how a good MCQ is made. A good MCQ is not just copy the statement from the book and then give some options. So yeah, that is a good MCQ. No, the good MCQ is always something which makes you to ponder something other than the book. Or now it is not other than the book, but instead of saying after how many months the baby auditory system starts functioning, they are asking how many weeks before birth. So the same thing is mentioned in two different ways. The third is what percentage of human breathing while speaking involves exhalation. So we know most of our speech is exhaled. In other words, when we speak, we exhale air out of the lungs. So most of our speech is exhaled speech, and it is 90%. And what percentage of its eventual weight is a baby's brain at birth? Now, once again, this is such an MCQ. We have read that when a baby is born, at that time, his brain is of the quarters, is in other words, is one of fourth part of his total weight. So for example, if a baby is born and his weight is at that time, his weight is let's say 4 kg, let's say 4 kg. So one fourth, in other words, 1 kg weight will be just of brain. So now once again they are not just asking in the same words, but they are asking in different words. What percentage of its eventual weight is a baby's brain at birth? So because it is quarters, in other words, it is fourth part, so therefore 25 will be the correct answer. Because if we have 100, so what is the fourth part of 100? It is 25. The last MCU is which two parts of the human vocal tract are in different position compared to other primates. So we have learned larynx and pharynx. Our pharynx is longer than the um, other primates like chimpanzees, and our larynx is also a bit lower as compared to chimpanzees, which I have shown you in different lectures. All right. So these were the MCQs, and yes, these were the 5 MCQ. So the best way is just to read the complete chapter, then and very carefully read the question and then answer it. So it is the best way to do any MCQ. Uh, what percentage of human breathing? Well, yeah, it is 90. All right, so thank you so much and Jazakallah.